Hey man, you're looking good, by the way. I must say, you're looking like you've been eating well. You look like you're getting some protein in. What's been happening, man?
This is what happens when you follow Ralph on social media. You start looking at yourself, you're like, where am I going with this? So I think after feeling a bit full stress, I started consuming more full stress.
Nice.
And I think that's why it's important to bring in Chef Clem here, because did you know that ostrich and venison is naturally low in fat? Thank goodness. Hello, making it a healthy alternative red meat option.
Yeah, man's been honored. Now listen, Chef Clem recently visited Cape Karoo International, and that's Woolworths supplier of all ostrich and venison meat products, and obviously part of this man's diet. But let's learn more about the quality going into those buys. Cape Karoo International opened its doors in 1945 and has been the global leader in ostrich and venison production ever since. They've been partnered with Woolworths for decades with a solid commitment to deliver consistent innovation, sustainability, and quality. Let's find out what it takes to make the best ostrich and venison in the world. Francois, Cape Karoo International opened its doors in 1945. Tell me about the origin of the company and why you believe you are a global leader until this day.
The strongest point, I think, of CKI is the fact that we have 120 farmers as shareholder ostrich farmers. And these guys farm with ostriches, and their fathers and grandfathers farm with ostriches across this whole area, in the Klein Karoo, in the Southern Cape, as well as in the Eastern Cape areas.
You produce ostrich products for the whole world, but I want to know, what is the demand for ostrich like in South Africa?
Over the past 10 to 15 years, ostrich meat actually became more and more popular in South Africa. Not only at the retailers, but also at the restaurant level. It's now really popular amongst the whole of South Africa.
Francois, you have over 120 farm suppliers when it comes to ostrich. How are you ensuring that CKI is sustainable?
On an annual basis, we ask the farmers to produce a certain number of ostriches as we see the market develop for the next year. And of course, we must bring in balance the need for ostrich meat, ostrich leather, as well as ostrich feathers. We utilize the complete bird. We export this leather to the fashion houses of Europe specifically. And you've seen Lady Gaga at the opening of the Olympics. She was looking beautiful in Cape Karoo International's ostrich feathers.
The popularity of ostrich in South Africa is on the rise, and that's thanks to ostrich being a healthier red meat alternative and innovation bringing new delicious flavors through. But CKI does more than that. Let's go find out more about game and venison. Shaw, I think you're the best person to ask this question. How do we define venison in South Africa?
Venison can be defined as including various animals, including wild game birds. But generally, if you ask a South African what venison is, they refer to antelope. But it can include broader animals, including wild game birds and so forth. At Cape Karoo, we harvest most of the species.
So working with so many species and variety, how do you maintain quality and ensure that that quality standard is held from field to table?
Our quality starts with the harvesting process. So at the beginning of a season, we would tell our harvesting teams the volumes that we need for the year. Other sources of game for us is from the national reserves. The national reserves have to control their herds. So we also have game meat examiners in the field, which will examine every carcass for any disease, and if any sickly animals are there, they're immediately rejected and not loaded onto the truck. So it's a long list of procedures we have to go through.
There's so much happening here today. We are now in the noodles room. I love it. Can you please tell me about the process the CKI has in place to maintain consistent quality and integrity with all the products that you produce?
Clem, there's so many controls in place on our production floor. Temperature is a very big one. Temperature is controlled in the actual facility itself, so the area temperature doesn't go over 5 degrees. The product temperature we keep under 2 degrees, and nothing is packed if it's over that. We've got a QC team, a quality control team, that monitors each and every product along the line, and they check for temperature, they check for quality of the product, if it is according to Woolworths specifications, and the packaging and the labels, that nothing is skewed, that everything is absolutely perfect. So when it goes out of this door, it's ready for Woolworths shelf and ready for the consumer.
You might have a DIY biltong box at home. It's kind of like these rooms over here, just a lot bigger. Each room allows you to control humidity, temperature, and airspeed. And by the way, this is just my weekly order of biltong. Matthijs, we are in my favorite room in CKI. It's a snapstick packing room. I'm gonna do my best to stay focused. Woolies is all about the partnerships and the relationships that they have with their suppliers. Tell me how the values of CKI align with those of Woolies and come together to create the most amazing ostrich and venison ever.
Clem, it really comes down to being absolutely customer obsessed. I think that is such a priority for Woolies, and in other words, such a priority for us to make sure that the suppliers that we align with, the suppliers that we partner with, have that same shared customer-centric view on everything that they do. And that really filters down into being completely transparent, in really working with integrity. I think that's really something that's exceptionally important to Woolworths. And I think when it comes to our working relationship with CKI, that is exactly the case. It also boils down all the way back to farm level. You know how passionate we are about sustainability. You know how passionate we are about animal welfare. There is no way that we can enter into a partnership with someone that doesn't share those values. So I believe that is absolutely the case with CKI, and those are really the values that really join us together as well.
Animal welfare is actually defined by the 5 freedoms as internationally accepted. For us, the most important thing is that the farmers and their farm workers handle ostriches in a humane way. And secondly, there must always be water and food available. The 120 ostrich farmers are all also shareholders of the company. And these guys must be audited on an annual basis in terms of animal welfare. And the rules and the regulations were set by international veterinarians.
We're here today, we have a very close relationship with CKI. Everything emanates from that close relationship. The fact that we are involved all the way back from packaging, all the way back to farm level, the traceability that's involved with that process, all the quality checks that's involved with that process, the cold chain that is meticulously maintained in that entire process. Another difference is traceability. You know, we know exactly where our products come from, where it's sourced from. That is critical, not only to have a quality product at the end of the day. And I think all these are really embedded in our relationship with CKI, our relationship with all our suppliers, and the ability that we have to offer the product that we do to our customers.
Taking South Africa still sees ostrich and venison as a niche offering. How would you encourage our shoppers to get involved in this delicious alternative? You don't need to convince me though.
Clem, both ostrich and venison are very healthy products. It's naturally low in fat, naturally high in iron, and both species do have a very unique flavor. And I also think that customers feel intimidated by cooking the product because you can very easily overcook the product and the end result can be quite dry. So customers don't understand that they must specifically with steaks and venison fillet, that they can just cook the product just medium to rare. And that actually results in the best eating quality. It's still succulent and it's still tender.
Delicious, packed full of nutrients, sustainable and locally sourced. It's never been a better time to get into venison and ostrich. And because it's Woolies, you know you can trust that constant innovation and quality. This is going straight to my car.